A word for them: computer programs, the sequences of instructions that make computers do what we want them to do. Writing quality programs is as much art as science, and it is big money business, or at least a few people are betting it will be, that computer users will pay big money, cash, for a concept.
These software people, these people that are writing code, are on to something that is going to change the community that I live in and the society as we know it in the 80s.
It's wonderful to have high-speed hardware with all these bells and whistles, but if you don't have the software to run along with it, why, where are you?
We sort of believe that the software, the programmer in the 80s is going to be like the rock star was in the 70s. Where you will see guys that sit and produce some software in their garage or in their bedroom, and then overnight are millionaires from developing a very hot, exciting product.
People at NASA had an application with the space shuttle where they were having problems with the tiles falling off, and they had to do further analysis to find out what really are the kinds of forces that these tiles are undergoing. And they had to do really a detailed analysis on a tile-by-tile basis, and to keep track of that information, you just don't do it in a spiral notebook.
This is already a local boy makes good story. It may also be a get-rich-quick story, and perhaps even the most important technological story of the 1980s.
A lot of it has to do with logical processes. That can you really get an idea in your head enough to the point where you can really conceptualize how the pieces fit together and then be able to actually implement that work. And some people have an aptitude for that and others don't.
What Bellevue's Wayne Erickson has an aptitude for, and others don't, is computer programming. He helped write the computer instructions that helped NASA solve its tile problem. Those computer programs, those painstaking sequences of simple steps, are called software. So far, his software program has brought Erickson credit. Now it may bring him hard cash, too.
And so there's an awful lot more than simply, can you write a program that works? You know, can you put together a plan to convince people that program is worth their putting out money for? The whole marketing standpoint. How do you finance the company? How much money does it take to finance a company? It's much more than just salary for programmers or the money to buy some machines. In some ways, those are almost the small parts of it.
Software's hot. People are saying, granted, it's a cottage industry, but look at the numbers. If they're going to ship $600 million worth of product this year, and between $1 and $2 billion in 1983-84 time frame, and well over $3 billion in 1985-86, what are the odds of failure versus the upside of success?
Investment banker Andrew Evans is helping launch Erickson's program and company called Micro-RIM. The government-funded research for NASA remains in the public domain, but the Relational Information Management Program, RIM, has been modified by its author for the hot new generation of microcomputers, the so-called personal computers. And the quality software for the new machines can be either a race to the bank or to bankruptcy. Software particularly dicey from an investment banker's point of view?
It is, and it's talked about in lots of trade journals and lots of investment banking editorials about it's a cottage industry. It's a single individual oftentimes that's doing most of the source code development or doing a lot of the object code. It's a single individual who is formulating where the product enhancements are going to come next. So you take the approach that maybe that person, if anything happened to him, or all of a sudden if he made so much money, he decided that he didn't want to work for the company any longer. You have a real problem in a cottage industry where you can't bring in a new management team and kind of take over the manufacturing facility and see the second and third generation come online from the new management team.
To provide security for investors, Wayne Erickson signed non-disclosure and non-competition agreements with his own company. which also purchased an insurance policy on his life for $1 million. The 200,000 shares of common stock in MicroRim were snapped up a couple of months ago. To learn more about the importance of software, the programs that make computers do what we want them to do, we can visit here on our own east side, Bellevue and Redmond. But the best source of information about computers and how we're making them run and how we're going to make them run is still California's notorious Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley is a disappointing-looking place. Endless slab-walled buildings and parking lots. Companies whose high-tech names often give little evidence of what goes on inside. But through the Silicon Valley, between San Francisco and San Jose, flows a river of wealth, knowledge, power, money. The headwaters of that river flow from an ivory tower, Stanford University, and the research community around it in Palo Alto. To find out more about the role of software, which experts say will eventually be more profitable and more critical than computer hardware, we need to look briefly at where it came from. There are few more qualified computer historians than Paul Armour, Associate Chairman of Stanford's prestigious Computer Science Department. Armour helped build one of the first computers after World War II, working for the Rand Corporation and the Air Force.
It's a way in one can distinguish between a computer and a calculator. In a computer, the program that the computer is to follow is stored in the machine, and the machine can operate on its program just as it can operate on data. So that way it determines